However, with this being the premiere week, we're going to have an additional episode. So we're going to have 3 episodes this week. So catch me on Wednesday as I reveal the next twist that determines and shows us kind of who is or isn't a couple. And then on Friday, we're going to have our first matching ceremony where they will pick a pair and we're going to see how many they have correct. And of course, there's a twist with that as well. I lied. Kinda awkward. Sorry about that. Okay, so technically I kinda lied. I don't really know. I have previously recorded all of this footage, and I kind of forgot what was what a little bit. Typically, our schedule will be one day is the truth booth, and the next day is the match ceremony. So I kind of thought that was the case for this week. However, I was wrong. So instead of today's show being just the secret twist, we're also doing that and the matching ceremony, people. So it's going to be a fully loaded episode for you guys. And even though it's going to kind of make our scheduling a little bit off, because I said we were going to have 3 episodes this week, I'm going to not lie about that. And we're going to have another episode on Friday. It just won't be exactly how I said it was going to be. Clear? Okay, so now that that's out of the way, let's get into today's episode because it is, like I said earlier, jam-packed. So if you don't know already, this is episode 2 of my new Sims 4 Are You the One series. And of course, I am hot dogs, okay? And today we are going to start off by kind of seeing how the first night, left everyone feeling now that we start our first full day in the house. And so far, we see that there's already some nudity going on. No real surprise there. So as you can see, Yolanda and Robbie are both naked, and it looks like Alice is dancing on her own. However, Yolanda decides to come over and join her, and they have their own little dance session going on in the corner while everyone else is trying to eat some breakfast and get their day started. And I mentioned this in the last episode. I'm probably going to mention it every episode, but there is really no privacy in this house. So we see that Ariel has passed out in the bath, and no one really seems to care that he's in there. We see that Felicity and Kayla are just having their own conversation right in front of them, paying no attention. We even see that Jake eventually comes into the bathroom and joins the conversation. And I'm just surprised that, this isn't the first time that they haven't cared who's in the bath. I'm just surprised that the person in the bath doesn't care. Usually, they get right out and they're like, leave the room. But for some reason, no one seems to mind. They're like, we're all here, we're all sharing this space, and you're just gonna have to live with it. Like, they've accepted that's the rules of the house, which I'm kind of living for. Now, we have quite a few Sims sleeping right now. We even see that Benson is out on a boat sleeping. That's probably the most private area you could get to, honestly. But we don't have time for sleeping this morning, okay? Like I mentioned earlier, we have the Truth Booth. So today we're going to introduce the Truth Booth. And basically, it's pretty simple. This is going to be the only for sure way you can know if a couple is a match or not. And the way we're going to determine which couple goes into the Truth Booth is whichever couple is the closest. So whatever 2 people have the most love meter, friendship meter combined, they're going to be the couple that goes into the Truth Booth. They're going to stand in front of it, get scanned, and then we are going to reveal whether they are or are not a match. And that's going to help for their matching ceremony that we're going to have at the end of the episode. Alright, so now that we have everyone finally gathered here in the living room, we can now determine who is the closest pairing and who will be entering the Truth Booth. Alright, and that couple is... Alice and Vince. Alice and Vince, you may now make your way to the truth booth.
Oh, Chuncha.
Oh, Panadayola.
Alice and Vince, you are not a match. I'm sorry, but you guys just aren't made for each other. Time to leave the truth booth and return to the rest of the house. Alright, and with that, our truth booth ceremony is complete. Everyone else is now able to go do what you like, and you have the rest of the day to figure out who you want to match with, because tonight will be our first coupling ceremony. So everyone needs to start chit-chatting, especially Alice and Vince, because you two are not a match. Therefore, you need to find someone else to match with tonight. And they do seem to kind of end things. They seem to be like, let's just be friends. They both take it kind of mutually. Right now, it's only been one night, so they're not fully, invested in one another. So it's better that they find out now rather than they spend weeks together just to find out they're not a pair towards the end of the day. So I think kind of being the first one is the best one. But let's see if they can find anyone else or if any other couples emerge. Now, coming up in future episodes, we are going to be allowing some of these Sims to go out on dates in order to get to know people a little bit better, get closer to one another. But for right now, everyone's just going to have to try to figure it out before tonight. And so we see that everyone is mostly just staying in the living room together, just talking, sorting it out, maybe talking to see who they think is pairs, giving their opinion on other people, stuff like that. And again, let me know down below who you think the pairs are, because it won't be revealed for a while, and all you know now is that Alice and Vince are not a pair. So I'm curious if any of you actually thought they were, or if you knew the whole time that they weren't a pair. And who knows, potentially they still might end up pairing with each other tonight in the matching ceremony. We'll have to wait and find out. However, we do see that Devante has made his way over to LaToya, and the two of them are getting a little bit flirty. Now, they did hook up yesterday in the bathroom, and it seems like they're going back to the bathroom to go for round 2.
See, Yambala.
It's lit. Haha, it's lit. It's lit.
And we can see that Bruno has decided, maybe he was inspired by the two of them going into the bathroom, but he decides to take off all his clothes in the bathroom and strut across the little catwalk over the water, go through the very busy living room in order to make his way upstairs to get into a bed and to self-woohoo in bed. So that's great. Now everyone just knows what he's up to. Meanwhile, down in the living room, we see that most of the house guests are actually just gathered around the TV and watching television instead of actually trying to get to know one another, which is fine. I guess that's kind of relatable. That's why they don't allow TVs in reality shows, but whatever. So while they're doing that, though, we see that Ariel and Jungyoung are talking, and it didn't look like they were talking at first because he is on the computer and she's behind him. However, she does eventually get up and join him, and they continue their conversation. And it seems like they're the only two pairing right now that are kind of feeling each other while everyone else is kind of distracted and talking to everyone else. The two of them kind of start flirting, and it's a pretty interesting pair.
Oh, Nusha!
Yeah,
Ipsa, huh? Well, nice. Drobisveric? Chul.
Vadish. Grisham.
And I like how you can tell that Ariel, he's a nerd. He's sitting here kind of trying to isolate himself on the computer while everyone else is kind of hanging out. Yet Jonghyun still manages to make time for him, come over, get him off the computer, and to try to form a connection with him, which I think is really sweet. And I don't think Ariel really gets that much attention. You could see that he is instantly blushing and is red in the face. And I don't know. I think the two of them are really cute together. And I kind of got bummed because it looks like the conversation kind of ended and they go their separate ways. However, that is not actually the case. Instead, they make their way over to the bathroom area where there are massage tables in the back, and they decide to give each other massages. And unlike other massages that have been going on in the house, this one actually seems to be a good one, or at least I thought it was, until I zoomed down and looked at Jonghyun's face and saw this. Meanwhile, back inside the bathroom, it looks as though Latoya and Devante have finished up what they were doing in the toilet. And instead of getting dressed or anything, they just decide, let's leave our clothes in here. Don't need them. And instead, they just strut their little naked selves back into the living room. And once they actually get in the living room, they still just kind of hang out for a minute. No one seems to really care. Everyone invites them back onto the couch to continue watching the television show they're all watching. And then eventually, they do put their clothes back on, but it takes a weird amount of time before they do. And at this point, I'm like, let's just make this place the nudist colony. Obviously, that's what you guys are wanting it to be anyway, so I don't know. I think we should go for it, but I'm going to try to keep them in their clothes for YouTube purposes. And I like seeing these little conversations kind of pop up in this big group of people, because as you can see, everyone's watching TV. They're even starting to play a game of ping pong. No one's really flirting anymore, apart from Jonghyun and Ariel, who are out massaging each other. But we do see this little flirtation happening between Benson and Bruno, and the two of them are kind of flirting. And I noticed this in the last episode. I didn't notice it when I was actually filming the series, but it's weird. I actually think Benson kind of looks like Matt Walsh. Does anyone else see that?
What is a woman? Can you tell me that?
I don't know. And of course, ironically, Benson is now flirting with Bruno. I swear I did not do that intentionally. Please do not come for me. That's just what happened. So the two of them are kind of flirting, and they don't even share a first kiss or anything. Instead, they're like, hey, I hear this bathroom is pretty popular. And so the two of them end up heading into the bathroom to woohoo. I think that's kind of the spot. It's kind of the only small private room. But of course, it's not the first time this has happened either. But they choose the bathroom that has someone in it So poor Jake is just in there trying to use the bathroom, and the two of them go in there and kick him out, and they decide to woohoo in the bathroom. And with that, we are going to wrap up night number 2, and we're going to get everyone to go ahead and head on over to our coupling ceremony, and we're going to see if they can get any of the couples correct. All right, hello everyone, and welcome to our first coupling ceremony. I am, of course, your host, Hot Dogs, now here transported into The Sims. And tonight, all of you are going to be coming up and picking one person to be your couple. Once there are 8 pairs, you guys are going to see the lights behind me light up. Now, with every light that comes on is one correct match. If you guys have 0 lights come on, that means it is a blackout and you guys will lose money. Now, again, if you guys are able to find all 8 couples, you will win 500,000 simoleons to share between you guys. So with that, let's go ahead and start with Vince. Come on up and let's see what your relationship is with everyone and see who you are going to pick to be your couple. Because we're going to determine this by whoever you are closest to, both romantically and in a friendship way. So let's look at Vince. Alright, so even though we already know that you two are not a couple, Alice is still the closest person to you in the house, so Vince has chosen Alice to be his couple tonight. So we definitely know that they are not going to get all 8 pairs tonight, and it looks like Alice is not too happy about being chosen. But they're going to go ahead and sit on the confirmed side. And now it's time for our next boy to come up and pick which of the girls or boys that he wants to be with, and that one is going to be Jonas. So Jonas, let's go ahead and look at your relationships. Alright, and Jonas has chosen Felicity to be his pair. Felicity, come on up and lock in this coupling. Alright, 2 pairs down, 6 more to go. Let's have our next boy come up, and that is going to be Ariel. Alright, not too shocking, we kind of saw this emerging earlier, but Ariel has picked Jung to be his pair. And what do you guys think so far? Do you think any of these are a correct match? We'll have to wait and find out. But so far, our third pair is now Ariel and Jung. They're going to join Alice and Vince, and Jonas and Felicity. Benson, it is now your turn to come on up, and we're going to look at your relationship and see who you pick.
Wow.
And again, we saw hints of this earlier, but Benson has picked Bruno to be his pair. So this does make the first same-sex pairing. Do you think this is the correct one? I don't know, we'll have to wait and find out, but that makes our fourth couple. Devante, it is now your turn to step on up and pick your pair. Not a huge surprise since you've been hooking up with her in the bathroom the past 2 days, but Devante has picked LaToya to be his pair. Alright, Jake, you are next. Come on up and let's have a look.
Uh-huh. Oh, boy.
Alright, it was a pretty close call, but Jake has picked Liana to be his couple. Alright, and the only boy we have left now is Robbie. Robbie, come on up. Alright, and Robbie has picked Kayla. Now, I feel like out of all the couples so far, Robbie and Kayla are probably the least we've seen interaction-wise. At least all the other ones have kind of had a little moment to the side or have hooked up, but we have not really seen that at all with Robbie and Kayla. Kind of is the same for Jake and Liana as well. These two pairings we haven't really seen too much of, but that doesn't necessarily mean they are not a perfect match. Who really knows? However, that does mean that there's only 2 people left to be in a pair, and those are the 2 remaining girls, Yolanda and Rosalie. So why don't the both of you come on, head on up to the front, and we're going to finalize this pairing, and that is going to make 8 official pairings. So right now we have Yolanda and Rosalie, Benson and Bruno, Devante and LaToya, Vince and Alice, John Young and Ariel, Felicity and Jonas, Jake and Liana. Am I missing anyone else? Whatever. You can see for yourself, these are all 8 of our couples, and we are now soon going to turn over and see how many lights come on. Now remember, each light is a correct match, and if there are none, you guys will lose money. So, let's see. That is 1 light. You guys have avoided a blackout. That's 2 lights. That means 2 of you are a perfect match. However, unfortunately, that is all the lights that will be coming on tonight. So, out of the 8 of you, 2 of those pairings are correct. Which 2 do you guys at home think it is? And who knows, maybe next week they'll be able to figure that out and try to determine. Again, the only way to for sure know who is a match is by sending people to the truth booth. So they need to pick the 2 that they think are the most compatible and send them in there. And we're going to see if that happens on Friday. So again, we're going to have 3 episodes this week, so stay tuned. Alright, so what do you guys think of that second episode? Who do you think the 2 pairings are that are correct? And write down who you think is a match all down below. I love reading your comments. You know, I love talking to my Beanie Weenies. If you guys have any questions about CC or anything like that, go ahead and ask me and I'll try to help you guys as much as I can. And if you guys like any of these Sims or the lots, including this coupling ceremony area or the house, go ahead and head over to the gallery at Sims Hot Dogs and you can download everything over there. But again, I do use CC, so you might have to check to enable that in order to see the lots and everything like that. And I have a ton of other stuff over there available from all my other series as well. And I will see you guys on Friday for our next episode. Yeah, subscribe, all that. Bye.